So we are the core four, and that's me, Ariel. We've got Christian, Cynthia, and Daisy. And we did mental health awareness in the workplace as our disparity.
So our group has decided to focus on mental health awareness in the workforce and educate everyone with the importance of understanding when to step away from work. We feel we are properly equipped to spread our knowledge to everyone else. We have all experienced this some way, somehow. That is why we are passionate about this topic. We feel taking care of your mental health is just as important as the job itself, and everyone deserves to step away from work and do something that benefits them. Okay. Proper understanding of the importance of mental health in the work field is an important tool to have. Logging long hours and sometimes isolated hours, you begin to feel disconnected from the rest of the world. Your mind start to wander and you begin to feel unproductive. Those are just a few signs that you need to step away from work and focus on your mental health. It is also important for the companies to understand that a mental health day for all employees can help increase productivity in the workplace and not at all harm the company. And our main goal for this presentation is just to spread awareness and show that it is okay to say you're tired and step away and reset.
Okay, so origins of mental health in the workplace. Mental health has actually been, it hasn't even been truly like a whole, I think it's been just over a full century that we've been learning about mental health and actually like trying to do something about it. But truly mental health in the workplace didn't start until somewhat recently. I guess it's been just under 50 years. So in the late 1980s, companies started addressing issues of psychological well-being as part of a more encompassing workplace wellness strategy. In 1986, the occupational safety and health movement started an initiative that emphasized workers' mental health. Its aim was addressing the issue of work-related mental health disorders, and it mainly focused on stress-related illness. This was then followed in 1991 with another initiative, Managing Depression in the Workplace, which was launched by the National Institute of Mental Health. And now this is the evolution of workplace mental health. So the National Committee for Mental Hygiene was founded in 1909 by Clifford Beers, and they worked to improve the lives of people who were mentally ill in the US. Skip a couple of decades, and in 1946, Harry Truman passed the National Mental Health Act, which allocated government funds towards research into the causes of and treatments for mental illness. Since the 1970s, some occupational physicians were concerned about the psychological aspects of work. A survey in 1996 then showed how much interest there was in the psychological aspects of work. 98% of organizations that were asked consider that their employees' mental health should be a company concern, but only 20% of those companies had an actual policy. In the late 2010s, research has found that 56% of people believe that their well-being is taken rarely or not at all into consideration in business decisions. And now several policies have been introduced with the well-being of people who struggle with their mental health. In 2019, employers were truly beginning to understand just how important mental health is and the need to address the stigma around mental health. In 2020, mental health support went from being something nice to have and then becoming imperative in the workplace. And I mean, we all know what happened in 2020, so it makes sense. The American Psychological Association completed a work and well-being survey in 2022 that revealed that 7 out of 10 employers care about their employees' mental health now versus in the past.
So the privileged versus underprivileged. What the privileged and underprivileged have in common with mental health in a workplace is the stress and anxiety that comes with working such long, draining hours. Everyone has this feeling in a workplace, no matter if you're privileged or underprivileged. Everyone needs to step away from work at a certain point to focus on their mental health. And the difference between the two would have to be the time span both spend at work. The privileged would be able to ask for time off of work because they're more able to do that. And because of that, they would be able to have more time to focus on themselves and their mental health while also having time to spend with families. The underprivileged maybe wouldn't be able to ask for that time off because they need to provide for their families, which would most likely cause their mental health to be low because they work such long and draining hours, and they would spend more time apart from their families. And the positives and negatives. Some positives of mental health in a workplace include when the mental health is positive, it helps teams remain agile when changing roles and responsibilities. It also helps employees flourish in their roles, manages stress, and boosts resilience while also being able to reach their highest potential. Some negatives of mental health in a workplace can include the stress and anxiety that comes with it because you're working such long and flexible hours while also not being able to spend time with family because you are overworking and putting all your focus on work. Describing mental health in a workplace. When we think of mental health in a workplace, some words that may come to mind are stress, anxiety, overwork, and drained. These words all relate to this topic because they're all true when it comes to working in any job. It is so important to step away from work from time to time because it can drain the life out of you so quickly because it's part of your everyday routine when it really shouldn't be. Stepping away from work can give you the time to really focus on yourself and rest when your body needs it. How can we improve? The way we can improve our work choices around this disparity would not complain about certain things when you go into, for example, a store or restaurant, because you never know what a person is going through with their mental health while working long hours of the day, and saying something rude could just drain them and cause them to feel even more isolated and upset.
So for solution, what I have found is that mental health disorders are among the most burdensome health concerns in the United States. 1 in 5 adults has reported mental health illness. And this is obviously like a big percentage because it's 71% of adults and 63% of Americans are part of mental health issues affect businesses and their employees by affecting job performances and productivity. It affects the engagement in one's work, it affects the communication with your coworkers, and it also affects your physical ability and daily functions. I just listed like a lot of information that I found. I just kind of listed it down like to provide tools. So I'll start with some. Employers could like offer free or subsidized clinical screening for depression from a qualified mental health professional, which would give you feedback and refer you to like an appropriate doctor if needed. Make mental health assessment tools available to all employees. I know I've seen like a lot of flyers with companies, but you never see any company providing flyers or brochures for like mental health. Mm-hmm. What about hosting seminars or workshops that address depression and stress management? You see workshops and seminars that help you be better at your job, but you don't see anything that teaches you how to manage the anxiety that a job gives you. What about creating and maintaining dedicated quiet spaces for relaxation? Sometimes when you're working long hours, it could be overwhelming. If they provided like a room where you could just take a moment to breathe and get away from all the commotion, that would really help. Maybe provide managers with more resources so they could identify when someone looks like they're having like an anxiety attack or they may seem depressed. Give employees opportunities to participate that with issues that affect the job. Like maybe today you don't feel like being around so many customers, or maybe be able to switch off of your own position and work somewhere where you won't be so overwhelmed. Also, I think what's really important is employers always, depending on the hours that you work, will accumulate vacation time and sick time. So what about having a system where the hours that you work do also count for hours accumulating for like taking mental health days off? So I just feel like these are some of the solutions that employers should come up with, because at the end of the day, if an employee is depressed or has anxiety or is overwhelmed, they're not going to work as well. So a business is going to bloom if all your employees are content and relaxed and they could do their job like to their like 100% capability.
Okay. As we all know, within the last few years, there have been a rise in mental health diagnosis in the workforce, and that is mainly because employees now feel more empowered to speak up. People are no longer afraid of the backlash or any kind of judgment from others. And we as a group feel strongly about this topic because we all have experienced a bad day in our lives and have felt alone during that time in need. And there are many different factors that can affect a person's mental health in the work field, whether it be long, isolated hours or verbal abuse from colleagues and sometimes even bosses. And it is in all of the company's best interest to protect all of its employees from top to bottom. Over the last few years, there have been many different types of outlets implemented for employees to get help. We feel it is important to have a mental health days for employees, not only for them, but it can also help with work productivity, which will greatly benefit the company itself. And not only is it important for everyone in the workforce to understand the importance of their mental health, but as a society, we as humans are programmed to just work, and work, because that's what the system has groomed us to believe. But also as humans, your mind and your body can only take in so much, and we people must encourage each other to speak up. And it is okay to seek help. It is okay to not be okay. Every day won't be a good day, but it is up to you to turn that bad day into a lesson.
And that is our presentation on mental health in the workplace. Thank you all for listening. Bye.